that dealt with black people who came together in order to be
No,
able to.
I didn't say that. I didn't say there was a case. The NAACP was formed.
No, you said the
During,
case was NAACP versus Alabama. I thought that's what you said earlier.
yeah, that's later. But I'm
Yeah,
just
so
saying the NAACP was formed to fight against racial segregation.
okay, so there's a group of people, which is what you just said, came together. They already had rights based on the 1866 Civil Rights Act, and they already had rights based on the 14th Amendment, but for some reason they felt they needed to come together and protect their rights as a group of people, as an association. Is that what you're saying? That's what they did? Is that correct with history?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, was there any purpose in that, or did it accomplish anything?
The
Like,
purpose was to fight racial segregation.
gotcha. So when they came together to fight racial issues as a group of people, was it a benefit to that as an association? Because it's the National Association of Colored People. When they came together, was there a benefit to them coming together, and did it bring forth fruit for them by coming together?
Well, we have more equal rights now, right? I mean, there's less segregation, right?
So 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 then you're telling me that you believe in the idea of a group of people who are impoverished or being attacked by the government or not getting fair treatment, because a lot of people who look like me were getting hung back then, and having all types of bad stuff happen. Even black people, Negroes in the 1950s, who really were looked at as the scum of the earth in Alabama, a racist state where they hung people a lot. When you come together as a group of people, as an association, there's a benefit to it where you could actually get justice, possibly.
Well, it's easier than doing it alone.
That is so true. That's what I tell everybody. See, the power of association is the fact that when you come saying that you have a grievance with one person, you might get hung. But when you come with 50, 100, 1,000, you start to build numbers. You usually get a lot more justice, because when you do wrong against 100 or 1,000 or 2,000 people, what ends up happening is that the governments, which are political, look really bad when they punish a lot of people, and it's a common occurrence. But I'm happy you made that point. But go ahead, continue. Ask me about the case, and then we can deal with what you got for me.
So they formed this association,
Mm-hmm.
and the government officials, employees are still very racist. So they're constantly trying to interfere with the activities of the NAACP.
Okay, so the actual government, the state government, is trying to interfere with the business of the people,
Of the NAACP.
of the end of the association. So
Yes.
the association, before there was other cases like this, because this is one of the first, you're saying
Mm.
the association came together and went against the jurisdiction of the government of the state before the
I
Supreme Court
didn't
made a decision.
I didn't say jurisdiction. I said the NAACP is fighting segregation, doing
Uh huh.
whatever they can
Uh
to
huh.
fight segregation, and the state of Alabama and other governments are were interfering with their activities because they're basically racist and
But you
they
said they asked for their membership list. So when you have a LLC, S corp, C corp, it's in the statutes of every state that the government has the right to call in and check your books. They have a power over the entities they create. That's in the state statutes across the country. And they can actually change the rules for LLCs, S corp, C corps, and government created associations like 501s, 508s. That's why 508s and 501s can't be political and talk about who they want to bring in as politicians and the such. And churches can't talk about who they want to pick and what bad things the government is doing. They can't do it because they're created by the government and under their jurisdiction. So when you said they wanted their membership list, that kind of it kind of triggered me, because that's what you do when you have jurisdiction over somebody, like for instance, in Arizona, when we got the audit and the full forensic audit, I went to the legislature, said, hey, write a subpoena, tell the board of supervisors to give you the ballots. You have jurisdiction over them. Take it. And then they did a subpoena and they got the ballots. So jurisdiction is going to be the granted authority to take, to control another entity. So that's why I said that. But I guess that's neither here nor there.
All right. So they're interfering, and one of their ways of interfering was wanting them to produce this list of members. And then CP refused because they said it would invite retaliation against their members. That's why they refused. And the state of Alabama requested other documents as well, which they produced. The only thing that they did not want to produce was their membership list, because they thought there was probably a lot of KKK hanging around there, and they didn't want, they were scared, right? They don't want to, publicize their list, right? So this case went all the way up to the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that the state of Alabama did not have a compelling interest that outweighed.
Wait, whoa. Compelling interest.
Yes, compelling interest.
Tell me what this compelling interest is. This is good stuff.
Another way to put it is, anytime the state infringes upon any constitutional right, it must have a compelling interest.
Is it just a compelling interest, or is it a compelling public interest?
Compelling interest.
Is it a compelling interest, or
I'm just telling you
public?
I'm telling you what the Supreme Court case opinion says. I'm just telling you exactly what the case.
Okay, because compelling interest deals with public affairs, which is what a republic is. So there's some granted authority in the constitutions to the courts and the Supreme Court to deal with certain affairs or matters. And when they say compelling interest, they're talking about public interest, because the public interest is the only way that the court would have compelling interest over anybody.
Okay.
Just so everybody knows, and if you want me to, when we're done with this, I'll show you in the definition of what a republic is, so that we know. That's why I asked you earlier. But go ahead.
That is the test on whether the state could have forced them to produce the list. Does the state have a good enough reason, a compelling interest, that outweighs the interest of the association?
Gotcha. So what would be an example of a compelling interest that would allow them to take over the association?
So in this case, it was ruled that it was not a compelling.
I know 100%. You're asking me if I was familiar with it. Yeah. It was not a compelling interest, and there was a reason why it was not a compelling interest.
And then, have you heard of the case Roberts?
Wait. Let's not leave this case, though, because this is important, because you didn't tell what they said. You got to tell us what the judge, the court said. I believe it was John Marshall, famous Marshall's son, that gave the opinion. Would you like to tell us what he said the association had the power to do?
The most relevant part of that opinion is that the state did not have a compelling interest.
That's not what he said. That was the most important part.
What did he say?
He said that the association has the right to handle its private affairs privately, is what he said. No, I'm sorry. They have the right to handle their private interests privately. That's what was more important.
So you're saying...
I'm not saying. That's what he said.
But your interpretation is that all they have to do is be private.
Okay. See, I knew we would go here, and this is why I asked you about a republic earlier. So in our state and federal constitutions, all power is granted, right?
Granted.
Can the state and federal just make up their own power and steal it and do whatever they want to do? We already see that the state couldn't take their membership list, right? So the state isn't all powerful. The state has to go by something. The state has to go by what was granted to them in the state constitutions, which is their agreement with the people of what they would never do.
When it comes to whether a state can interfere with our constitutional rights, it has to have a compelling interest.
Okay, so that's why I asked you, what is a compelling interest that would ever allow a state to interfere with your private rights?
And that's why I'm bringing up the next case, Roberts versus
Well,
United States.
but we didn't finish this case because when they say that you have a right to carry out your
You want me to come up with a hypothetical?
no, not a hypothetical. I'm telling you what the case said because you didn't mention anything about the private at all. Why didn't you mention about the private? You knew it was there, right?
Because there's every.
Did you know? Did you know it was there? Did you know that it said they have the right to carry out their private interest privately?
That case is about associational privacy.
Did
That's a
you know?
landmark.
Did you know that it was there? Is my question.
Did I know what was there?
That
they're
the
talking
case
about.
said that the opinion said that they have a right. Right is something that's guaranteed. Right to carry out. You said rights aren't guaranteed.
I didn't say that.
Oh, I thought you said okay. So the case said they have a right to carry out their private interest privately. Did you know it said that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you knew it said that,
Right
why
to
didn't you give?
privacy is a
Why
right to
didn't-
privacy? Because that's not what. That's not why.
Why didn't you give full disclosure that it said that? Because you know that we're talking about private association, so the word private should matter in that text, and they said it twice in one sentence. So why did you not mention that it talked about their private affairs being able to be held or taken care of privately, meaning without interference from the government? Because he went on to tell that it would interfere with their rights under the First and the 14th Amendment. Why didn't you give full disclosure of that? If we're going to be fair.
I'm telling you right now, that case is a landmark case that has to do with this.
Okay, but when it talked about people coming together as a group to handle their private affairs privately, which is one of the most powerful things ever, because you just sat up here and told us that in the middle of a racist place where there were black people, Negroes who get hung, coming together, and the Supreme Court, which was all white, gave the decision to the black people 9-0. Talk about make America great again. 9-0, they gave a decision saying that the black people who came together as an association had a right, not they got permission from the government. They have a right to handle their private affairs privately, and then went on to say that any interference from the government with their private affairs would go against their First and 14th Amendment rights. You mentioned the 14th Amendment, but you didn't tell the part of the case about the private and the 14th Amendment. I just don't understand why you would leave that out.
So why would they go into the fact that they don't want to be retaliated against? If all they need to do was argue that they're private, why would they even bring up?
Okay. So this is why I asked you about the word republic. When we have a republican form of government, sir, may I ask you, what powers or what does what?
Why are you changing?
I'm not changing the subject. I'm talking about exactly what the judges said because I know you might be missing this.
Let's not talk about a republic.
Every state is a republic, sir. Sir, every state is a republic. So
That's not what the judge is talking about.
yes, it is. He
not-
talked about, sir, when he says that they can handle their private affairs privately, what would be the opposite? It would be the government handling their affairs, right?
So you're saying.
I didn't say
that
anything yet. You didn't let me talk about it. You didn't let.
The only reason that according to you, the only reason why they didn't have to produce that list was because they're private.
I didn't use the word only ever, not once. I'm telling you,
The main reason.
I'm telling you, sir, that the constitutions grant authority to the states and the federal. So the states get certain power, which you mentioned from the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment has to cover rights of people in every state. One of those rights is the freedom of association, the right to associate with people in your private affairs how you need to. That's fundamental to American law. and it is what a
We
republic
don't
is.
have a right to associate to do anything. We have a right to associate to secure our constitutional rights.
That sounds like a lie because NAMBLA
No,
actually
we
talks
don't have a
about.
right
Hold
to,
on,
we
look,
don't have a
I'm going to
right
prove it. I'm
associate
going
to
to.
wrongful things.
I'm going to prove it real quick, sir. NAMBLA, the National Association of Man Boy Love, talks about raping freaking kids. Do you have a right to do that?
No.
No. So why the freak are they together as an association protected by the government, going around the country talking about having sex with kids, sir? And they're untouchable by the government unless they actually get caught doing it. So they're talking about it and talking about something that is unlawful, and that ain't got nothing to do with your freaking rights. That has something to do with these men being lustful, and they're using the power of being in an association in the
I don't know
private to
why.
speak about things.
I don't know why you're talking about this. Let's stick to the facts.
No, because you said the only reason to be able to be associate is dealing with your constitutional rights. That's what you said.
Yeah, we have a right to our right to associate as recognized by the courts is only to secure our other constitutional rights. So like you said, we don't have a right to associate to molest kids.
Yes. So the court doesn't have jurisdiction over you when you come together for a bad discussion, do they? No,
What?
they don't.
What-
They don't. That's why NABLA can do what they do.
You're
See,
saying the court doesn't have jurisdiction.
the courts told you they don't have jurisdiction. The courts told you they don't have jurisdiction. The government show you they don't have jurisdiction.
What are you talking about? Where did the court say they don't have jurisdiction?
When the court says the people have a right to carry out their private interests privately without government interference, they're telling you the government was never granted authority to touch this. That's where it came from. That's where republic comes from, Article 4, Section 4. Republican form of government in every state. In a republic, the government is only granted authority over the public affairs. That's why you have public health,
So
public
what's going
welfare.
on?
You don't
So what
have
is your-
you don't have private health, do you?
Okay. So for this case, what was the reason why the NAACP did not have to produce it?
Because they have a private right. And a private right stops the courts or anybody from interfering because in every state, the government swore they would never interfere with your constitutional rights. Did they not?
Okay.
Wait,
So
no,
let me-
not okay. Did they or did they not swear and guarantee that they would never interfere with your constitutional rights?
Did who swear?
Every government official who gets a job swears that they're going to follow the constitutions, plural, period.
Our constitutional rights have been ruled to not be absolute
By who?
by the Supreme Court.
Did the people say that? What would allow somebody to take away your absolute right?
So we have the freedom of speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a freedom to yell fire in a crowded theater?
No, because it would interfere with somebody else's public privileges and rights. That's a public law. See, you're going to fall into a problem because everything you say out of your mouth that can cause for somebody to interfere with the private is going to be a public law or a public situation or interfering with the public. Guaranteed. You figure every single one you can, and you're going to find a public compelling interest comes from when you interfere with the public. Only.
Okay.
That's what the public police
How about
power
this?
is.
Let's say I want to sell marijuana, and I'm in a state where it's illegal. Can I just make a PMA to sell marijuana?
You have
Doesn't hurt
you have folly in your question again.
What's my folly?
The folly in your question is you say, can I be in a PMA and sell marijuana?
Okay, so what's the folly?
Okay, so can you smoke marijuana in your house?
Yes.
Okay, can the government just come in just because they want to and say, we heard you smoke marijuana in your house? Matter of fact, can you go smoke marijuana in your house right now, smell like weed, go in front of the police right now and say, hey, officer, I smoke marijuana. I've been a bad boy. They're like, where? When? You got some on you right now? No, you don't have it out here in the public? No. Where'd you smoke it at? In your house? No. You got any more in your private area? No. What can they do? Because we got junkies every day that use drugs, right? Using drugs is bad.
All right. So how can I frame this question so that you will actually answer it? Is
You
it,
got to
I
you
mean,
got to you got to come with the right law, and your question has to be correct first.
so if I want
Wait,
to,
can I just give you an example? So
of what?
to give people AIDS drugs, right? That would be considered
Give people
illegal.
what?
To give people AIDS drugs, that would be considered illegal, right?
To give people AIDS?
AIDS drugs to help with AIDS. Wouldn't that be illegal? If you were selling AIDS drugs, you're selling them, you would go to prison, right? If you're not a doctor.
If it's a prescription drug?
If it's a drug that the FDA says it's a drug, and you sell it, it's illegal, right? If you're not a doctor.
Prescription drug. If you're
Yeah.
a doctor, yeah, you have to be a doctor to, well, they don't sell them, but they prescribe.
Okay. Okay. So tell me why there's been PMAs that have come together to acquire and distribute AIDS drugs, and nobody goes to prison. In Texas, it's illegal to sell
Probably
alcohol.
because
It's
they're
a dry
not- they're
state.
not- well, are
It's
they
illegal to
still
sell alcohol in Texas, and in certain areas, it's a dry state.
trapped?
How are they having memberships where you can get a membership and sell alcohol?
There's ordinances that specify you got to apply for a permit to be a private club, to be a drinking club.
To be a private club or no, that's not true, sir. That's not true.
No, I can show
No,
you.
no,
I
no.
can show
You
the
think you can show me, but I'm going to tell you what it is before you even say it. So what happened is in Texas, they realized that the people had private clubs that they didn't have to come up with licensing to have alcohol there. So then what they did is offer on the side a government permission that you can get to where you could just do it and just be with the government and do it. That's not the same, sir. They can't prosecute the ones who are doing it without it. Say it again.
I'm pretty sure if they're doing it, they probably applied for a permit.
No, that's not the case. That's not the case. As a matter of fact, sir, I've dealt with hundreds of private entities that stayed open, and we went against district attorneys in multiple states, and our entities stayed open and actually grew.
Okay.
Police joined our entities. Police came to our
Well,
entities.
I have no way of verifying that. So,
Well, the people
back-
came out and told them.
back to the question.
People who I
Back
didn't
to the
know
question.
came out and told.
okay, back to the question. Can I sell weed in a PMA?
You don't sell in a PMA, sir. It's a membership. There's nobody profiting in a PMA. The people are coming together to carry out their private
What-
affairs privately, sir.
Oh, so
Just like with the AIDS drugs, the person wasn't
So-
selling drugs.
so
They
when
had a
you're-
membership and they just gave them what they were going to give them. They had memberships, and in the membership, they gave them
so
whatever
you
they were going to
don't
give them.
use PMAs. So you don't use PMAs to run a business? Is that not
Sir,
what?
a PMA is not a business. That the Orange
when
County
you
case.
do-
There's an Orange County
when
case,
you
sir, that
have-
says that you
when
can.
have gym
Hold on, sir.
drugs, you have
Can I explain it? Because you're trying to. It seems like you're trying to cut me off before I can get the words out. Because I'm going to tell you.
You don't answer any of my questions. You just keep talking about other
Sir,
things.
if you have folly in your questions, can you make sure your words are right in your question and ask me a proper question to answer? Because biblically, God tells me, correct people who make bad questions.
What's the purpose of a PMA?
You already said it. A PMA protects the rights of people. They come
So what
together
are
and
they gonna
assemble
do?
to protect rights together.
Give me an example of why someone wanted to create a PMA.
Because if you are a bunch of black people who are oppressed by a bunch of racist people and you come together to express your rights, you have a better chance of expressing your rights in a multitude of people rather than a few. Just like when we wanted to stop the lockdowns. If the government wants to lock you down, we use it against that.
PMAs are fighting for or some kind of purpose that are
Every
really all
we
your
we
camps
we
fighting
have
for, right?
we have natural rights, sir. And anytime the government interferes with your happiness, your liberty, your life, your property, your pursuit of happiness, you have a right to stand up with other people and fix it. So yeah, every single PMA I have deals with government trying to stop us from doing something we want to do because we're the bosses in America. Period.
So if you want to sell marijuana,
I don't sell marijuana. Now, if I wanted to give away some marijuana, I would do it. Yeah. If me and a whole bunch of the Masons Lodge right now, they do drugs in the Masons Lodge. You could go to motorcycle clubs and associations. They do drugs in there. It's in the private. The government don't just walk in there.
you set up a gym, right? A gym that,
Oh, I set up 140 gyms.
and they sell memberships.
They don't sell
They don't-
memberships. They have memberships, just like the YMCA has a membership, just like the church has membership. They don't sell a membership.
So,
There's a
if I
membership
have a
fee.
PMA, okay, I'll make a PMA. I'm not going to sell the weed. I'm just going to have membership dues, and then I will give away. Then is that what you're saying? That's okay.
Do the people 100% is okay because the people have a right to acquire property, sir.
So
They
you-
also have a
you
right to take care of their own
confidently-
private health.
You would confidently tell someone who sells weed in a state where it's illegal, you can just make a PMA.
No. I wouldn't do that, sir. I wouldn't do that. I would go straight to the government and go head up with the government, call them out publicly and ask them to discuss it with me like I'm discussing it with you. And then they'll show that they're going to acquiesce to everything I say when they see the real law. They can bring all their attorneys and then they're going
Why wouldn't you just do it? Because you think the government would disapprove?
because I'm smart enough to know that attorneys don't know the law. Just like I talked about common law, you didn't know. So
But you're
if
saying that
so
the government will go after you.
no, I'm saying that we have servants and the law gives me the right to instruct my servants, like it says across the country as an inherent right in the state constitutions.
You're saying, okay, the government serves the people, right? That's what you're saying.
The government is only servants to the people. There are trustees and servants, nothing else. They're not our leaders. They're not our rulers. Do we have rulers in the republic?
You're saying that we get to tell them what to do?
Yes, we get to tell them what to do. We put them there. We gave them their seats. They don't have the right to be there unless we create a government. It didn't exist until the people came together and allowed them to exist to serve us only by our will only and not their will.
So what if I get into a public bus and I tell the bus driver to forget your route and then just drive me to my house?
It's amazing that you said that because you have to, as I said, deal with the public situation. You don't control the public. You can only control the private. That's it. That's a totally different realm, sir. That's why I say, why could the state get a compelling public interest when you affect the rights of the public? When you're indecent in the public. You could be naked in your house. You could be naked in a sex club with 5 other people. And nobody can arrest you for that. When you take your anus out into the street and you get naked on the street, you're a public nuisance. You're going against public law, period. And you get arrested.
So you're saying, fine, if I make a PMA where people pay membership dues and then I give them weed for free, you're saying the government will, because they don't know the law.
Okay, let me just make it easy for you because you keep saying what I'm saying. Let me give you some real life example. Chiropractors didn't have a license to practice medicine, and they used to get in trouble for helping people with chiropractic care and helping them with their health. When they decided to start opening up private associations and do their practices in the private, the government realized they had to stop interfering with them. So this is real life. They don't interfere with chiropractors even though they did not have a license to practice.
Chiropractors have a license.
Excuse me? Back then they did? Is that how they started?
Well, chiropractors, they used
And
to.
sir, attorneys don't even have licenses.
What do you mean?
You don't have a license.
And what do I have?
You have a membership card, sir. You paid membership dues to have a membership card, if you have one.
All right.
You're a
So-
private associate. Hold on, wait, hold on. It's unlawful to practice law without a license, right? That's what they say?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got a membership card to a private entity that's not government, right? Right?
hmm
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that licensed by the state or by something called a bar association?
The Bar Association.
Is the bar association government, sir?
No.
So how the freak are they giving you permission to deal with law which is illegal? Now you're stuck in your own question. You are part of a private association that's ruling law in America, that's not part of government, and they're doing things that are considered illegal by the government, but they're not getting in trouble because they're private associations that give out a membership YMCA card to somebody, and the government realizes, oh, they have a right to do what they do in the private. We can't really interfere with that. That's your own question.
You would say the same thing for doctors. Every single profession that requires a license, you would say.
Well, sir,
they're all
doctors,
private.
do doctors have a license by the state? The
Sure, I think
the
so.
state actually licenses doctors and nurses, right? They cover that. But for the bar association, y'all not covered by the state. Y'all not licensed. Y'all go around saying y'all licensed, but you're not licensed. The state would have to give authority to be able to do something that would be considered a license. If your president of your bar association signs something, you're just part of a membership, and you're having benefits because somebody was smart enough to know that you could be in a private association. You could agree with people, and when the people make an agreement, then the state is not to interfere. And then you go to the courts, and you get what's called put on the Supreme Court roll of attorneys, and you are admitted to be able to practice in the courts for profit. That's what you are. And if the courts gave you permission to practice in the court for profit, that means that you got the permission from the people because the people created the courts. So you had to get the people's permission to be able to come into court and talk about law. But here's what's funny. In the state constitutions, it tells us that we can instruct the government as the people without anybody's permission. And every government swears. It tells us that we can do remonstrance, rewrite constitutions, go to the legislature, tell them what to do, instruct them. You can look at Michigan's Constitution, Declaration of Rights. You can look at Georgia Bill of Rights. It says that the people have a right to regulate the government. You can look at Missouri. It tells them that they can have the inherent right to regulate the government and the police or policy thereof. It tells us we can control the whole law. Why doesn't it say that for you guys? And if you would challenge me to say that I'm lying, I'll stop right now. I'll take you to every constitution and show you everything I just said. So how is it that the people reserve a right and y'all got to have permission?
How is it that people
We
reserve
reserve the right to do what we want to do in the constitutions, and the government authorities swore to it. Would you like me to prove it?
I'll say I don't know what you're talking about right now.
See, and this is the problem. I'm telling you inherent rights of the people. You have no idea what I'm talking about. So the power of the people, which is simple, written in stone, guaranteed, you don't even know.
Well, you're talking about a lot of things that I've never looked into.
Okay, wait.
So-
But sir, you're an attorney. Sir, you are the authority. You are the authority. I'm a nobody, sir. I'm a nobody. I'm just a regular old guy. You are an attorney.
But you are claiming that you're claiming that you're an authority, right?
I'm claiming what I read. See, like the Bible says, it is written. That's
And
what Jesus did.
I claim what I read as well. I claim what.
Okay,
Supreme
but
Court-
the difference is
That's the only thing
I'm claiming things here that you're saying you never heard of. So either I'm a liar or you didn't get to learn right. It can't be both ways.
Why would I need to know all these things when?
Because if you're a lawyer, sir, the definition of lawyer is a man learned in the law. The constitutions, plural, are the
Every
fundamental
lawyer
law.
knows the law is a very broad topic.
Okay, so
if
can
want me to-
you
if
be a
want me
man
to
learned?
research something, I can.
Can you
What?
be a man learned in the law if you don't know the fundamental law? If you don't know the basics, how could you be learned in the law?
And
Because
whose
you would be able to make a judgment against
whose
me
definition is the fundamental law.
by
You
the
were saying-
by the authorities in
you
law that you read when you went to law school. You know who Locke is, right?
I read Supreme Court case.
Did you don't know
If you
who
go to
so
court-
you don't know who Locke is? The Supreme
Listen,
Court.
If you go to court, will they use Supreme Court case opinions, or will they go by whatever you're talking about?
The Bruin case just proved that they'll go by the historical usages and go all the way back to what the people said in the beginning, sir. not just Supreme Court
Well,
cases.
I'll-
That's
I'll
the
have to-
limited thinking of people who learn things a certain way.
So you're saying that the courts will ignore Supreme Court case precedent and go by some law?
It's not precedent. We talked about that earlier, sir.
It
You
is
can't bring things into precedent that's derogatory to the common law, sir. That's against the fundamental principles of law. Thomas Jefferson will tell you that. The maxims, the fundamental
law. Every single judge and attorney will treat Supreme Court case law as common law, whether you agree it's common law or not.
Are you sure, sir? Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure, because every judge.
Okay, wait.
probably-
Now listen to what you just
every
said.
attorney
You said,
went to law
listen to what you just said, though, sir. You
What
said
did I say?
every attorney and judge will treat Supreme Court cases as case law as the common law or the law, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here's my question then. So then why did everybody get locked down by attorneys? Why are attorneys taking people's houses, kids, dogs, grandmas, and everything else? Why did they use all this Chevron deference, sir, and put people in jail over ATF cases? And the Supreme Court said, wait, no.
Talking about if it goes to court, if it goes to trial, if you're going to make an argument.
Like a county or a state court, you're saying? Because the state courts went against the law when they
Any
arrested
court.
people.
Okay.
So attorneys,
any court, where are they going to go by common law, or are they going to go by Supreme Court case?
it depends on if they know the law, sir. You can't just say everybody's going to do right, because you just said the states did wrong when they locked everybody down, and they were trained by attorneys.
And the argument would be the state is violating the Constitution. The argument is
Okay,
not,
so then every
we're-
attorney wouldn't look at it. So then every attorney doesn't look at it. Not every attorney and not every judge looks at the common law and calls it legit, sir. Because in every single case you got one attorney that's fighting another attorney. One is right, one is wrong, one is lying, one is telling the truth, and in every case, one of the attorneys lose. So somebody's not doing something right. So you can't say every attorney would look at the common law and recognize it and respect it, sir. That would be an untruth.
But that's what they will use.
No, it's not, sir, because the maxims say you cannot bring things that are derogatory to the common law inside of precedents. But there's been a whole bunch of cases where people have used Chevron deference, sir, which goes against the common law and the law of the people.
In common law, thousands of years ago, slavery was legal back then, right? So now
It depends when and where. See, you got to be careful when you say that. You got when and where.
Before the Civil War.
Okay. So does common law come from the Bible?
Common law is case law.
That's not what common law is. Is Christianity part of the common law?
Common law is case law.
Is Christianity part of the common law, sir?
Common law is case law. What is Christianity? Is a religion.
Is Christianity part of the common law, sir?
Christianity is a religion.
You might want to be very careful when you answer this question, sir, because you might end up looking really bad. So you might want to think about it. Is Christianity part of the common law?
You're saying the Bible is common.
I didn't say the whole Bible, but Christianity is part of the common law. And common law did come from the Bible.
Some common law concepts came from the Bible.
Okay, but is Christianity, Christ, Jesus, the New Testament, part of the common law?
Is a religion common law?
Is it part of the common law, sir? Yes, a religion, the church, the Christian church, the Church of Christ. Is it part of the common law?
It could be. I suppose it could be used as common law if a court.
Not used as common law. Is it part of the common law? See, the thing is, sir, I'm speaking. Sir, let me just tell you. I'm asking you questions based on what I know is written already. I know you don't know, and I will stop and show you.
I don't care about law from hundreds of years ago. I go by the most.
It's right now, sir. The common law is right now.
Yeah, and that's Supreme Court case law.
That's not what the law says, because Christianity is part of the common law. And The Supreme Court doesn't write law
case
either.
law trumps old case law. Do you
The
at least agree with that?
well, hold on, sir. In the Bruin case, it was shown that Chevron doctrine was used in the courts
Yes.
all the way up to the Supreme Court, all the way up until recently.
Was something overturned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
it's
the
like Roe v.
practice
Wade,
the
right?
practice
Roe
of
v. Wade,
hold on,
Roe
wait.
v.
The
Wade
practice of using
was
Chevron
overturned.
doctrine, the practice of using Chevron doctrine, sir, was overturned because it was derogatory to the freaking common law.
So who decided? Who made that decision?
The people.
The court made.
No. The court did not make that decision. The court didn't just do that on its own. The court has been ripping people off for years until somebody came and said,
But now, so the court
Judge,
made that
Judge,
decision,
hold on,
but
hold
now
on,
you-
hold on. This is what happened in the Bruin case, sir. In the Bruin
Okay.
case, those who brought the case said, hey, Judge, don't make this decision off of some Chevron doctrine or some stupid statute. Go back and let's look at the historical basis as you're required to do. See, every court case, someone has to bring a demand, a cause of action based on something in law. And when the attorneys keep bringing these statutes that play inside of a certain jurisdiction that has to do with a certain thing that's statutory or administrative, then the administrative side is allowed to do what they normally do.
So whenever there's a disagreement, where do you go?
To where the people
Where do you
wrote at
go
first.
whenever
You go
there's
to
a
what the people wrote at
disagreement?
first. This is why the people in Bruin case understood, oh, we need to go back to the original historical
Why did they
basis
go
under
to
the common
court?
law.
Why did they go to court?
They went to the court because they understood that the people have a right already in the common law that's being interfered with, and they put it in their pleadings, which means they knew before some dumb court said they agree. They knew already. They made the decision that the stupid ATF was wrong.
The final decision is made by the court.
No, sir. The final decision is made.
People-
The final decision is made based off of what was already written. You're trying to bypass
Yeah,
the
but
people
who-
wrote it
but
first.
Who is doing it? Who's
The
making the
people,
decision?
the people wrote it, and when the
People.
ATF went against the people decided, screw you, ATF. The law says this, and then they went against the government.
When people disagree, then who decides who's right?
The person who challenges the one who's wrong decides what's right based on what's written.
But who decides between? You got two
Okay,
people
let me help you
who
understand, sir,
decides
because there's steps to
How can
everything.
the-
There's steps to everything. Sir, if somebody does you wrong and you just accept it, is there a case? Is there a case? If somebody does you wrong and you just accept it, is there a controversy? Every court
No.
case has to have a controversy. No. Okay. So if somebody does you wrong and you decide to stand up and fight, is it you who decide to stand up and fight, or is it a court that's going to make a decision 10 years down the road, sir?
Without the court, how?
No,
can
no,
you-
no, sir. See, you gotta stop trying to run from the obvious truth. The people who are involved in a situation make a determination without some.
Who's the people?
The two people
Let's
who
say
have a
you and I
disagreement.
disagree. I'm
Yeah.
the people. You're
Okay,
the people.
okay. You
If we
infringe.
disagree,
You infringe on my
then
rights.
A
I
third
have
party
to
has to decide, right?
first. No, I have to. Really, sir? Okay, so let me go back so we can just understand basic principles. Sir, are people who are making cases against somebody else prosecutors, sir? The stream might have went out. Okay, we restarted the stream. Uh-oh.
Are you
Invite.
there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
They kicked us out. Hold on. Let me see. They kicked us out and we had to come back. Let's see if we can get this to work. Oops. Okay. All right. So we should have went out and came back in on Rumble. Hold on. Let me make sure everybody can hear us on Rumble. Rumble, can you guys hear us? We had a situation where the whole system broke. And we are trying to come back. I think you guys have a 10-second delay with us. Let me check and make sure that people can get back on. Okay. We should be back up and running. It says we have people coming back. So let's see. It's saying we're recording, but we get a little delayed. So give me 1 second. Okay, can everybody hear us on Rumble? Are we back? Are we back, everyone? Can you guys hear us? Lawfully Explained said, thank you for speaking with Dave Phil. Ducks is 444 said, thank you. I think we might be back up. Let me see. Okay, we are back up. Okay, so what I was saying was the people in America have the inherent right to prosecute anybody who does anything wrong against them. So the people are free to live their life and have liberty until somebody does you wrong. And this is why the state would have a compelling public interest doing somebody wrong. So if you attack me and we're having a fight face to face, I make a decision to submit or to fight back and subdue you. Now, when it comes to a situation that is going to be a case, you do something wrong, I have the right to make a decision, did he do me wrong? And then I'm going to use the law to make a decision if you did me wrong or not. I am going to make my claim of you doing me wrong to a court or to a jury, and they are going to make a determination if you did me wrong or not. In the same way, if a police officer comes because we have a fight, and I swing and I hit you in the face, and you got a mark on your face, and there's a independent witness, a third party that's watching, and they say, hey, yeah, we saw Dave punch him in the face. The police have jurisdiction to arrest me because a witness will sign testimony saying you did it, I did it, and you'll sign testimony saying I did it. So now, but you could choose to say, I don't know nothing about nothing, he didn't hit me, and if there's no witness, we could just part our separate ways and there's no controversy, right? We had a little scuffle and we're done. So the person who moves a court, right, an actual court of record, a person who moves a court of record is going to be the one that's prosecuting, and the judge is just an independent party, and a jury makes a determination based off of the common law. That's how it works. So
you're saying basically you get to decide if the court's right.
No, I get to bring a case. I get to bring a case, and I decide if the law has been broken.
Looking at so you're looking at old cases, say Supreme Court cases.
No, I don't have to look at a Supreme Court case. We're dealing with common.
I'm talking about so you don't use Supreme Court cases at all, is what you're saying.
Sir, if me and you have a problem and you steal from me, do I have to look at a Supreme Court case?
I'm not talking about that anymore. I'm just talking about in general. Do you use Supreme Court cases to prove your arguments?
Well, sir, to prove my arguments, and people in the comments can let you know that I'm telling the truth, I don't encourage people to use a lot of Supreme Court cases at all. I use the state constitutions. So when the Supreme Court cases agree with whatever you're saying, that's when you use it. I may, but a lot of times I don't use them at all because it's not necessary.
But you have brought them up. You know.
Yeah, I brought them up every once. I brought them up every once in a while, but I don't use them a whole lot because.
So when you like what it's saying, you use it.
No, that doesn't make sense, sir. I use Supreme Court cases that understand the common law and that are not messing with administrative stuff. Because administrative stuff.
In your opinion, when the Supreme Court cases follow the common law, you use it.
Well, sir, the Supreme Court cases and the cases below only follow what the prosecutor, one of the people, tell it.
Yes, but you use them when, in your opinion, it agrees with the common law.
I use any case, sir, only when the person who made the case, the prosecutor, one of we the people, was smart enough to put the right stuff in to get the right
Yeah, but
solution
you're
out.
making a decision. You're making a decision to use it.
No, sir. I'm making a
You're not making a
decision.
decision?
I'm making a decision to stand with one of the people who was smart enough to use the real law rather than somebody who used administrative law or something dumb. That's the only time I would use it. See, a Supreme Court case that agrees with me means nothing, sir. What means something is, was there somebody smart enough to go to the Supreme Court and say what the real law was so that the Supreme Court can make a right decision? See, a lot of cases get kicked out because the person making the case was dumb.
Who decides a decision is right?
The people who wrote the Constitution that
No,
the
like
judge
when
confirms.
in your view, who decides? Who decides who's right?
The person who wrote the law that the judge is responding to decides if it's right. So when you write a constitution and you say,
So what if that
hold on, wait, let's leave all.
disagree? If you don't like that decision,
No, sir,
then
let's leave all the ifs. Let's deal with real life. When the Constitution says that the people have a right to be not undisturbed in their private affairs, in plain English, right? The people have a right to not be disturbed in their private affairs or their home invaded without authority of law. Private affairs. When the Constitution says the people have the right to be unmolested or they can't be disturbed. Hold on, sir, let me finish. Sir, can I finish? When the Constitution says that, I'm going to use that and say, hey, government guy, didn't you swear to the state constitution? Yeah. Did you ever read it? Not really. Did your attorney show it to you? No. Okay, well, let me show you what you swore to. Right here, it says that you won't interfere with my private affairs. Right there. Do you agree that you swore to that? Well, I did swear.
How do you define what your private affairs are?
It's plain, sir. The government is public. Your affairs as a man or a woman is private, like who you decide to have sex with in your house, like going to a sex club, like watching porn with some other people.
And you're saying
that's
by
private.
Creating a PMA.
I didn't say that, sir. I just told you what the Constitution said. Your private affairs.
No, okay. And I'm
wait, sir. Wait. Can we deal with it? Because you brought me. Hold on, sir. You brought me to how do I decide? And I told you I go to the Constitution where it says it. And then you just walk right by it. It says in the Arizona Constitution, Article 2, Section 8, that the government cannot interfere with your private affairs. And then it goes on to say, or your home.
What is it?
Private affairs, sir. If you look at the Black's Law Dictionary, private is in opposition to the public office or realm of government officials. That's what it literally says.
Okay. So now, if you create a PMA...
Oh, wait. Let me add one other thing. And that's why a republic actually means public affairs.
Okay.
That's what a republic means.
When you create a PMA with other people, you are now all associating in private.
Yeah, because public affairs deal with things that are created by government permission, sir.
Yes. You said yes. When you create a PMA...
I didn't know. I said yes because government things or public things deal with things created or connected to government. That's what I said. Okay. So let's be all inclusive.
All right. You create a PMA, you're now associating in private.
Yeah, like the Bar Association, that is a private association. The government didn't create y'all, but y'all association by yourself, like that.
So how do you establish that it's private? Do you just agree that it's private?
So let me ask you, sir. If the government is created by the people, I'm going to tell you, but I have to tell you the opposite so you can understand because you never learned this. The government creates things that are in the public realm, public law, public welfare. The people gave them jurisdiction over those things. When the people create something outside of the government, sir, that's no longer public. That's called private. That's why the government, the Supreme Court says you can create your own ghost guns or guns with no serial number because the government isn't part of that. They have no control, nor did they give you permission. You're doing it at home by yourself in the private realm, not part of government. That's how you know the difference.
Okay, so If you're creating a PMA, you're now associating in private. Yes or no?
Yes, because the maxims say you control what
Okay.
you
Yes.
create.
Okay. It's just a yes or no
No, sir, it's
question. You
not a
don't
yes
have.
or no because you don't understand the background and the people watching don't understand the background.
How is that not a yes or no question? I'm asking you if you
Because you
create a
can create a
PMA.
PMA and then open it up to the public and it's no longer PMA. But you don't know that and the
Okay.
people on
So
here don't know
so so
that. So
what makes it private? Is just you agreeing that it's private?
no, what makes it private is the people creating it outside of the realm of the government jurisdiction.
What does that mean outside of the realm?
The
How do you
government,
create
the
outside of the
government
realm?
is a republic. They only have granted power
Yeah, but
from the
how?
people.
How do you do it? How do you create
Sir,
it outside
can
of
I
the realm?
please speak? Because you don't know this stuff, but you're not going to let me say what it is.
You're not
You
answering
want me
any of
to
my
you want
questions.
me to answer a little bit of your question, but not give the full answer when you don't have the knowledge that I have about this. So when I ask you about something that an attorney believes, I let you tell what you think. But when I try to speak, you don't want me to give a full answer. You want me to, oh, just give me this part. Sir, I have a mountain of knowledge that deals with this that I have to explain so people know what's right and true. See, the Bible says in Luke 11:52, woe unto you lawyers, for you hide the
What?
key of, hold on, sir. You
You're
hide the
talking
key of
about
knowledge.
the
Sir,
Bible. I asked you a
I'm
simple
talking about the
question.
Bible
You're talking
where
about the
common law
Bible.
came from. The Bible says lawyers hide the key of knowledge. I'm trying to give the answer to the key of knowledge that you don't know, and you're trying to cut me off part way.
I'm asking
You're
you a
hiding the key
simple
of knowledge.
question.
It ain't a simple
I'm
question because
asking
you
you a
don't
simple
understand it.
question.
Sir, if it was a simple question,
What?
you would be able to answer it.
How is this not a
You
simple
would be able to
question?
answer it if it was simple. You would be able to answer it, but you can't. You have been able to answer common
I
law
want to
and
know
gave the
what you
definition I
think. I
gave.
want to know what you think. So
It ain't about what I think, sir. It's about what's written. It's about what the law
still
is.
waiting for the answer? What?
What? It's about what the law is, not what I say. It's about what the law is.
Okay, so what does the law say? How do you
Here's what the
be
law say.
in the private realm?
The law says in the state constitutions that the people have a right to assemble together freely and to
So
consult for
how do
their
you do
common
that?
good.
How do you do that?
You
How?
the people
How? Do you just
decide
say we're assembling
the
do I
people
just
have
declare it,
agreement
or how do you do it?
together and decide together with each other with consent.
So you agree. You're saying all you have to do is agree. Is that what you're
No, that's
saying?
not all you have to do, but part of it is agreement. You can't do anything. Two can't walk together unless they be agreed,
What
sir.
else? What else besides agreement?
What else besides agreement? Acceptance.
Yeah.
You
What?
you have to have consent. You got to have acceptance. You got to have an offer. Somebody got to offer something.
So you're saying it's a contract.
It is a contract, most like. I mean, most
Yeah. So
definitely,
all you
one hundred
need is a
percent.
contract.
Yeah,
You're saying it's a
either
you need a
expressly
contract.
written or by voice. It has to be a contract. Yes, sir.
So expressly written contract or by voice.
Or spoken.
That's all you need. That's all you need to be in this separate realm, not public realm. You just
How
have
did
to
the
contract.
how did the NAACP do it? They had a
Oh,
goal, a common goal. They had a common
no,
goal.
I'm asking you. Is that all you have to do?
The
I'm
state,
asking you.
the federal and the state government agreed that all you have to do is come together and assemble under a common goal, and outside of the public realm, and you are a private entity, sir. That's what the government accepted and swore to. Not what David
And
said,
that's
but what they swore not to do.
that's what you agree with. You agree that
Not agree with, sir.
what
It's what's written in the contract in
okay,
every
so
state
that's what
Sir,
so according
let me
to
finish.
you,
Let me
according
finish,
to
sir. Let
you,
me finish my idea. It is what is sworn to in every state constitution by a public service that they will not infringe with. Period.
okay,
They said that.
okay.
See, so it's not my
All it
words,
is
it's
just
what
a
they agreed
contract,
to.
right? You're saying all it takes is a contract.
Every state constitution is a contract. They swore to never
No,
interfere
I'm
with our
talking
assembly.
about to be outside the public realm. All you need is a contract. Is that that's what you're saying?
The state government and federal swore that when people come together for a common cause, they have the right to do it freely and the government cannot interfere. So if I come together with any group of people with a contract and a common goal, then I'm covered. And the better that I know the law, the better I'm going to be able to defend it and win.
Okay, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that as a yes. It just needs a contract.
Is is the law, sir, and it's an understanding of the law, so you can stand on the contract. But
According to your interpretation
not
of
my
the law,
interpretation. What the government swore to.
it is everything you say is your interpretation.
No, the government swore to it in written English. Okay. Do we
Yes,
have the
but
power
it's
to
still
understand?
your
Do we have the
interpretation.
power to understand plain English? Sure, yes or no?
Look,
Sir,
you have a definition.
No,
and
I'm
I
not
have a
using the definition. I'm telling you what's
How do
written
you-
in the
how do
state
you know what's
constitution.
right?
It's
Okay.
written in the state constitution, sir. Would you like to
Right,
look?
right, right. Contract, fine.
No, sir. It's written in the state constitution, sir.
Okay, contract.
Yeah, let's go look.
Contract.
Let's go look because you're having a hard time,
It's a contract.
sir. You're having
saying-
a hard time. Can we go look in the state constitution
I'm
so
not
you can
having
see?
a hard time.
No, you're having a hard time. You're definitely having a hard time.
I asked you a yes and no question, and then you
Sir,
talk.
you're
like,
asking me a yes or no question full of folly, full of missing information that I need to
No,
get to the
how
people
is
so they
that-
understand.
Okay. So you can't
Sir,
simplify
in
one
your,
sentence?
I can simplify stuff by telling you what it says in the law, but you're not giving me the ability to hurry up and
So
show
the
you.
law- So what you're saying, the law says all you need is a contract.
I'm showing you what the government swore not to interfere with.
Okay.
Do you believe
Okay,
them?
so-
Do you believe them?
So you're saying it's